Happy Tuesday again. It is Leanne. I am very excited to have you here at She Leads and Empowers. I'm super excited today to feature the amazing woman that I have with me right now. You see her beautiful smiling face right there. That is Melissa Rosenberg, and she is tuning in with us as the executive director of the Howard County Autism Society. And this is something very near and dear to my heart. I am truly excited that she's taking the time to help us. April is Autism Month. And so we wanted to take a few minutes and not only bring you some information today, but show you exactly what Melissa and her organization are doing to support families, which is so beautiful. So Melissa, thank you so much for joining us first and foremost. And I would love to start out and just let people know a little bit about you. How you ended up doing what you're doing, what your connection is to this great organization and cause. If you wouldn't mind jumping in with that, that'd be a great place to start.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on today. And hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. So I am the director of the Howard County Autism Society. We're in Maryland, near Columbia, Maryland, if you all are familiar. I have worked in nonprofits for over 20 years and mostly in the arts, and came to the Autism Society sort of by chance. It's been a wonderful fit. I've been there for 4.5 years. The personal connection is that I have a 30-year-old nephew with autism. I always say I thought I knew a lot about it until I started working in this field, and then every day is an opportunity to learn more. So it's been a great journey for me to work with our families and our adults with autism, and so I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. And I know that the society is really different because it is not just a research foundation, but you actually provide services. You support children, you support adults, you support families. Can you tell everybody, what you do and the kind of things that you are doing to really assist people?
Sure. So we are an affiliate of the Autism Society of America. That's our national organization. There's 75 affiliates across the country. Some of them are very small, some of them are statewide, and then we're sort of a mid-size affiliate. We serve individuals with autism throughout the lifespan. So the youngest that I've worked with is 18 months, all the way up to now our senior citizens. We have a woman who's 72 in our adult social group, and then every age in between, and families. And so we've been around for about 28 years. We started with parents back when autism really wasn't very well known, and just in people's living rooms and connecting with one another and wanting to create a better world for their children with autism. And they advocated for great services. Our Howard County school system is very well known for an inclusive education and great special education services, and we have the highest per capita population of autism, students with autism in the state because of the services. People want to come here and go to the schools, and the accessibility to hospitals and therapists and all different kinds of opportunities for their child.
Excellent. And I understand that you help with events, et cetera. Are you providing events or linking people events or linking families together? Tell us a little bit more about that, if you could, please.
That is one of the most important things that we do, is we connect families to one another. It can be very lonely and isolating. You have a child with autism or another disability, and to be able to connect with another family can be really empowering. So we have lots of social events. Right now, everything's sort of virtual because of COVID, but pool parties, picnics, potluck dinners, bingo, all kinds of fun activities. We have an adult social group that meets every week. And so connecting people is very important. We also are there. You can call us, email us, reach us through social media. If you, parents who've just received a diagnosis for their child for autism or suspect autism, you need other services, adults who are seeking diagnosis, any kind of question you might have. So we're services and resources. We have a special education consultant on staff.
Oh,
We
wow.
have we have a social worker as well for those who need some additional services, maybe mental health, or just the day-to-day, on top of the autism services, they need help navigating to housing, food, all those kinds of day-to-day needs. So we're a small organization, but we are jam-packed with all kinds of great resources and opportunities for
You're small but mighty. That's what it
small
sounds
but mighty. Thank you.
Now, I know that we had talked a little bit, and obviously this organization is, SLAE is a predominantly female community we have in here. There are men in here as well, and I never want to overlook our men, but we do feature female speakers all the time. And in the course of talking with you, you mentioned that a lot of times women are underdiagnosed. And I thought that was really interesting. So would you mind explaining a little bit about that and
Sure.
why, or et cetera? That would be great.
Sure, absolutely. Well, boys are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism than girls. However, the research is showing that girls may be underdiagnosed. And I know that we have a lot of women who come to us in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Hmm.
Maybe they've been dealing with this all their lives, but haven't really had a name for it, no formal diagnosis. And something, they'll pick up a magazine or they'll read an article or a book. Maybe they're seeing a counselor or something that sort of the light goes on and they realize, I wonder if I have autism. And this would explain a lot of the challenges that I've had in my life. And they can come and get some help, a diagnosis if that's what they would seek, just to understand themselves better and really kind of embrace their lives and the autistic community.
Yeah, that's really incredible. And one of the things I think that, is so important is that it is invisible. You can't look at somebody and there's no physical manifestation that shows you somebody has autism, which brings me to something else that I would love for you to talk about a little bit, especially when people have younger kids that have autism. It's even more difficult for an average person who's never been exposed to it to distinguish between a child that's misbehaving or a child that is, overwhelmed by their circumstances and just, in the moment of being an autistic child. And
Right.
as they grow older, sometimes people get a little better about it and sometimes they still don't get better. But if someone is here and they're watching this and they don't have a friend or family member that they've been around it a lot, and they suspect that something is going on and they see a parent, struggling with a child, sometimes people don't know, should I try and help? Would I be intruding? Should I back off? I mean, clearly we don't want them to look and judge, that's for sure.
Right. Right.
What are your suggestions if somebody sees something? Should they reach out? What's proper supportive behavior in that situation?
Sure. Sure. And it's one of the reasons that we spend a lot of time doing education in the community. So programs like this, presentations for churches, libraries, employers, the police department, anybody we can get out and talk to, because the more that you understand, I think the better that you'll be able to help support the autism community. So it is an invisible disability. There's no wheelchair, there's no crutches, there's no anything that would indicate until you encounter a person, and perhaps, and every person with autism is very, very different. And that's the other thing folks need to understand. But perhaps you'll see, some maybe sort of odd behavior. Our folks are very sensitive to stimuli, sound, light, taste, smells. You might see a child cover their ears if things are too loud, or to stim, flapping of the hands or something. It's just their way of dealing with all that's coming into their system and their brain. Sometimes there's a delay in processing. If you give an instruction, it just takes them a while to process it and to react. It's not a bad behavior, but I think what we need to do is absolutely ask the question. Think about, could this be autism? Could I be seeing this? And the more you learn about it, I think the more you'll sort of start to notice the signs. We tell folks, like even lifeguards that we train, or librarians, be welcoming, number one, talk to the families, talk to the young person or the adult, see how you can help, consider that you might be seeing autism, and see how you might accommodate them. How can I make your visit or your stay or your experience better? If you see a parent who's struggling with a child who's, having some behaviors, try not to judge, because it doesn't mean that they're a bad parent or that the child's bad. It's just, some of these behaviors that are coming through. There are a lot of different tips that we can offer for instance, we do some work with Robinson Nature Center in Columbia, and we've worked with their volunteers to offer some tips. Let the child know what's going to be happening.
Mhm.
We can do this with social stories or just, out loud. First, we're going to, visit the chicken coop, or then go down the nature trail. And so they'll know what's going to happen. Or in 5 minutes, we're going to transition, because some children have trouble transitioning. So we can give them those expectations. That's always helpful.
Mhm.
Sometimes places will have a quiet room. If a child just needs a moment to gather themselves together, they're just overwhelmed, they can go and step out of the class or the workshop and take a moment to gather themselves and then come back. So it's just getting people to understand. And I always tell, when we go and talk to schools, I talk to the little kids about being our ambassadors of kindness.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
It's really about kindness. What can I do? What can I do to help? Tell me, teach me. Let the family and the individual teach you. And I think that's a good way to approach it.
And you know what? Being a parent of any toddler is hard enough anyway.
Yes.
Being a parent of a teen is hard enough. Just being a parent is hard enough anyway. So,
It
you know,
is.
if you see anything, I always, I have a very dear friend who I've just seen people, look at it in a certain way. And it just breaks my heart, because it's so hard to be a parent. Nobody's a perfect parent. And
That's right.
judge a parent, and they got something else to deal with that's even, an additional challenge to parenting. Kindness is, I love what you said about being kind. That's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think any parent would ever mind sympathy, but every parent minds judgment. Whether you're
Yes.
typical kid, autistic kid, nobody really wants to be judged. They're dealing with the child in a really tough moment anyway. Yeah. So I know also that you do even help with adults too. So you not only provide services with children, but adults still continue to interact. And would you share a little bit about what an adult would be doing with your society and how that happens?
Sure. So our organization started out with the parents with young children, but those children have grown up and they're adults now. And so they need all kinds of services. A parent might think, what's going to happen to my young person once I'm no longer around? What about education? What about a job, housing, transportation? And so we do advocate on all those issues, and are working on some really interesting projects. One is Patuxent Commons, housing project that we're working on that will be built in Columbia, in Hickory Ridge neighborhood. It'll be an intergenerational program with seniors, folks with disabilities, not necessarily autism, and families. We also have an autism hiring program. So we're working with some of our adults who are having trouble getting jobs, who aren't getting services elsewhere. And then we have this wonderful adult social group, which started 3 years ago. And they meet every Saturday, even throughout COVID. So it's online right now. It's up to about 18 to 20 individuals every time, and they get together and they form friendships. And connection is really important for everybody.
Sure.
So in addition to other services that people are looking for, sometimes they're having trouble getting insurance or a job, or I have a, gentleman he's looking to meet a young lady. So we don't do that, but there's a question.
You don't provide a dating service too? Come
Not
on.
dating service, but it is something, just, what, it's just like they're just like everybody else. Everybody wants friendship and love and connection. I don't think a place to live, a meaningful job. I think that really explains it all.
Excellent. And now you mentioned that you're part of a national organization. I think you said, well, there's 75 chapters. Is that how many?
There are, yeah, 75 affiliates throughout the United States. So it's the Autism Society of America. They're based right in Maryland.
Mhm.
They have all kinds of resources as well. There's links on our site, and you can also visit theirs directly. So they do a lot of good work to help all of our chapters serve the autism community.
Fabulous. So we do have people from all over the country in here. So if somebody's in New York or they're in California or they're in Texas or wherever, they can
Right.
Google the Autism Society of America and probably find.
Right, and you can search for an affiliate that's close to you, or please feel free to reach out to me. I know a lot of the affiliates. I've met different people. I'm happy to connect you. And if there isn't one in your area, we'll help you find the services that you need. The national is also there to help you if there isn't an affiliate close by.
Also, we'll put a link to that,
Please
once we
do.
post this. And also,
Great.
we do have a member of the organization, Maureen O'Sullivan, and she runs a store or an educational and toy store, a little of everything, called Therapy in a Bin, and provides
Wonderful.
that are appropriate for children with different challenges as well. So we want to make sure we'll put that link too. And then I know that there are people who would like to support, and support comes in many ways. I'm sure, like any organization that's helping people, donations are always a good thing, but are there volunteer opportunities? Are there, I think in the past you've had galas. What are the different things people can do if either their family or they have a friend or family or something where they'd like to make a difference? What would you suggest for you personally? And I guess, would that apply nationally as well?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Well, of course, donations are always welcome. And we have tons of volunteers who help us throughout the year. Not as many right now because we're not in person, but we do have some opportunities with our walk. We do a walk and 5K called Every Step Counts. And that's always the first Saturday of October, so October 2nd this year. And we need lots of volunteers to help with that. Or, form a team. It's a really fun day, brings the community together. So it's businesses and just, people in the local area and our autism community who come out and walk and run. You can also walk or run from home. We have a virtual option. We're also going to be doing a very fun outdoor event because it's a little harder to have a big gala these days. We're having a cornhole tournament on June 26th.
Are you really?
Very soon. Yes. So that'll be fun. And then, of course, this is Autism Acceptance Month. We have tons of events going on, little fundraisers, a parent panel for newly diagnosed families. So there's another neurodiverse panel that will be in the middle of the month. So all that's on our website, and you can find all those events or just email us and we can connect you to the schedule.
Now I want to ask you, backing up to that walk for a minute. So for the walk, you probably need volunteers to help run it.
Yep.
And people can participate. And is it one of those things where you sponsor someone and you're like, oh, my friend's going to walk in it, so you can get someone to sponsor you like a regular fundraiser? Is that how that works?
Yes, all of the above. So it takes a lot of volunteers to run that event. And then, we also need a lot of people to come out and walk and run or form teams or sponsor other people. If you're not able or can't, come out and walk and run with us, you can certainly sponsor another person. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We have a Facebook feed and interviewed different people, and it's a great community event.
So you can volunteer, you can be a walker, you can be a team of walkers, or you can sponsor a walker.
Got it. Or you can be a sponsor. We do have some businesses who come out and sponsor, and then that's always fun too.
Oh, great. So businesses can go ahead and do that as well.
Absolutely can.
And what's the date of that again? Because we'll make sure that we post it too.
Thank you. It's October 2nd.
October 2nd. Okay, great.
Will be, it runs for a couple hours, 9 a.m. to about noon at Centennial Park in Ellicott City, Maryland.
And do the other chapters around the country typically do the same type of programs too?
Yes, they're very similar. Some do, some of the larger affiliates provide more direct services, so more therapeutic services. And we do partner very closely with the Baltimore chapter. excuse me, they participate in our walk as well. And we work very closely with them.
So if somebody's tuning in from another part of the country, they may have an autism walk with the chapter in whatever state they're in as well.
Yes, some chapters have their walks in April for Autism Month. They have a lot, everybody does a lot of different things. The walks are very popular. And so most chapters have a walk of some form. Yes.
Excellent. I think everyone's dying to get out of the house anyway after.
I think so too.
So what we'll do is we will put a link to your organization, the national organization, the other member of Therapy in a Bin, we'll put a link to that. And then maybe somebody is watching this and you are walking. And do they already know if they're walking? Have they already registered yet? Or are we a little early on that?
Not yet, a little early, but that will be opening in late spring. We'll open registration. So
once we do that, if you're a walker, we're going to encourage you to post inside this organization. So, maybe you can pitch in and sponsor you if they don't know, how to walk or how to participate. If you guys want to put that in here, I'm an easy sponsor. Anybody who's helping autism.
All right.
Count on me. If you're walking, I'll sponsor you. There you go. If you're in the group, we'll go ahead and do it. Well, Melissa, thank you.
Thank you.
Taking the time, and I'm excited that you're able to give people some information. And I also love that you are not in any way to take away from the research foundations, but that you're actually helping the families. And I do, as you know, have a dear friend who has interacted with your organization and has told me that when you connected her with other families, immediately the feeling of being alone went away. There was a sense of community and support, and not just for the kids, it's for the parents, I think.
Absolutely.
So I can tell you firsthand how much I appreciate what you do, and thank you for being here and teaching our group. And we are thrilled, and we're looking forward to your walk, and we'll kind of round up some people to walk and sponsor and do all of that.
Love it. That's great. Leanne, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Have an incredible day. We really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
You guys all next week. We'll be back next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, we will feature someone who will be talking about dealing with forced change, which many of us have dealt with in the last year. So if you have found yourself in a place where your life, your career, something has been disrupted and changed, not as you wished, we will be talking about great ways to handle that. She's got years and years of experience as a consultant. So we'll see you next Tuesday, and let's really help everybody who is, in the autistic community for this upcoming month. It would be a great thing to do. Thanks again, Melissa. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.